All right, so I'm gonna use some aluminum again inside the house. Obviously, as you can see in the beams behind me, I did all those beams in aluminum. I did the basement, I gotta finish painting and doing all that, but I actually really like using aluminum capping on the inside, especially with the wood grain finish that they now have. So now I'm gonna use it in the bathroom. So I did one sample piece here to see what it would look like, but I'll show you guys how I do this. I'm going to finish that off, and I was able to find a very close matching color that matches the tile. So I'm going to show you how I make this panel. To be honest, this is a design that I saw from the siding guy. I've used it in a few spots and it works very well. So here's how to do it. So I'll start with the 20-inch distance. I can put multiple layers in, make things more efficient. So I got my stopper set at 20 inches. So now we'll flip it over to the 10-inch distance. Now we're tight. And now we have 4 pieces ready to be bent from our 10-inch piece. Again, first bend will be at 1.5 inches. Finish side facing up, 1.5 inches, 1.5 inches. Flip over. All the way. Go back to your first 90. It's nice and tight. So now we want our 6-inch distance. So I'll take a little bit more time to make sure that we're fully accurate. Go back. Could I go tight? I think I can, yeah. Go tight like this, yeah. This should work. So I'll just get started, get it in, lock it in place. Here's another piece. And back to it. 1.5 inches, 1.5 inches. Finish side facing up. Finish side facing up. And now it's pushing it back, so I open the brake a little bit so that I can let it ride where it needs to go as I move the hinge and then lock it in place. It's nice and tight. So now we need our 6-inch. So again, 6-inch here. Six inch. Tight all the way. Again, I won't lock it completely. I'll make sure that I'm sitting where I want to. Lock it in. Here's another one done. So I'll cut those to length, make sure I tested them before I do too many of them, but that's how to bend those, and then we'll get on to cutting. All right, so now I'm gonna bend one end, bend the other end, and then I want to flip the 90 degrees that goes up the small wall drop ceiling 4 inches. And I want this to be all seamless, so I don't want any joints or J-trim or anything like that. So changing the way that we're prepping our pieces and bending them makes it a much better acceptable finish for an inside, as we don't have to pay attention as much with rain deflection and stuff. Although it's in the shower, it's going to be steam, if anything. So before I join the pieces together, I'm going to put a little bead of silicone. But because we don't need to do water management like we do on the outside, it allows us to bend certain way that wouldn't be acceptable outside, but allows us to have a nicer, more clean finish on the inside of a house. So adapting the techniques based on the usage, I think it's something that's very important. So I'll get marking on that. 40 and a half plus a quarter, so 40 and 3/4. And then I need 4 and a quarter a high. I'll line myself up here. Make sure I'm square. I'm gonna move over a little bit. So now I'm going on my, this is gonna be my 90 going up the wall, and these are just my 90-degree returns to give me a nice clean finish at the end of that piece. And you'll see I'm gonna grind off this double fold here because that wouldn't close off nice. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grind off the thickness so that when I fold it, I can have a nice clean line. I'm using a spare Sawzall blade to go in there, so to make sure that I'm gonna cut until I see the sparks. That will ensure that I don't cut on the good finish side. Again, as you've seen, when I see the sparks, that's when I stop cutting, because I know I'm through where I need to be. Ah! Basically, it's hot. So I'm going to trim that up. It's still hot. I shouldn't have opened the garage doors this morning. It's 30 Celsius outside. It was 15 in the garage before I opened them up. So I'll trim off those excess pieces that I don't need. Take my square and help me give a straight line. I'll make just a slight score just to make sure to give me a little bit of a weakness so that I can bend a nice flange. That's it. So I'll go install that, make sure everything works, that my measurements are all accurate, and then before I cut 12 of them and realize that I made a mistake. So we'll see how that fits in. All right, so I'll slide that in. As you can see, I think this flange here is probably too wide to fit on that side, so that's a good thing that I came in and checked. So I'll make sure that the widest flange is always on the side that I want to go. So otherwise I could trim it down or change my measurements, but I think I'll make it work with what I have. So I'm gonna run a little bead just on the side here, just to try and seal a little bit in case ever there's any steam trying to get in. I mean, it's still cement board, so it shouldn't get affected by moisture, but might as well put all the chances on our side. So this should slide right in, hopefully, if we did everything properly. Alright, so I think that's not too bad. Let's check back here. A few screws in. Perfect. Every step along the way, finding ways to make it better. So we'll keep on going. So the phone ran out of power, so I didn't really get to show you guys the install of the pieces, but I think you've seen most of, zoom out, I think you've seen most of the bending of them, and you saw me install a few of them. So obviously it's a little more intricate to do because there's no J-trim, so you got to be more precise on all your bends and stuff, but it took a few hours to do, something different, and obviously it matches the floor very well. So now I'll install the shower doors. In a month or so I'll do a vanity video as well, and out of coil stock, and the countertop is going to be made out of ceramic tile, so I'll make another bending video on that. So hopefully this video inspired you to use coil stock inside as opposed to just outside. And if you're an interior door or an interior finishing carpenter, maybe you can add a break to your tool list. So let me know your thoughts, and share some videos of work you've done if you've used coil stock inside. Cheers.